Many CELPIP candidates have good English skills but still score low on the CELPIP listening test. They miss answers, lose focus during the audio, or run out of time trying to keep up. High-scoring candidates use a completely different approach. They don't just listen and hope for the best. Instead, they use smart strategies that help them stay focused and find the correct answers even under pressure. Strategy can make a real difference. This is the approach candidates use inside our CELPIP packages. They discover how strategic preparation can make a real difference in their results. In this video, you'll learn 10 essential tips for all 6 parts of CELPIP listening. If you're ready to study smarter, stay tuned. By the end of this video, you'll know how to prepare effectively for the listening test. Tip number 1 is to know how the listening test works. Before you can use smart strategies, you need to understand the basic rules of the test. The CELPIP listening test has 6 parts, and the difficulty increases from part 1 all the way to part 6. For each question, you choose the best answer from 4 options. One important thing to know is that all audio clips are played only once. You cannot pause the audio or replay it. This means you need to be focused and ready from the moment the audio begins. Another important rule is that points are not taken away for incorrect answers. This means that you should make sure you answer every question, even if you're not sure. If you leave a question blank, you get 0 points for it. But if you guess, you have a chance of getting it right. Keep this in mind for every part of the test, especially the parts where you feel less confident. The second tip is to take notes throughout the entire test. Many candidates don't take notes, thinking they can rely on memory alone. This is a big mistake, especially for the longer audio clips in parts 5 and 6. Taking notes helps you stay focused while you listen. It also helps you find the answers quickly after the audio ends. Use short point form and abbreviations when you write. You don't need to write full sentences. For example, if a speaker mentions a name, just write the name. If a speaker gives a reason for something, you can write a short word or symbol to capture that reason. Keep your notes organized in order. This is because the questions will come in roughly the same order as the information appeared in the audio. This makes it much easier to find the answer you need. One more thing worth knowing: your notes have no impact on your score. Nobody at the test center will look at them. So you can write whatever works best for you without worrying about spelling or neatness. Focus on speed and clarity for yourself, not presentation. The goal is simply to capture the key information while the audio is playing. Another important tip is to read the introductory statement before the audio starts. Before each part of the test, you'll see a brief written description of the audio you're about to hear. This is very useful because it gives you context clues about the topic, the setting, and who is speaking. For example, in part 1, you might see an introductory statement telling you that 2 co-workers are discussing a problem one of them is having at home. Knowing this in advance means that when the audio begins, you already have a general idea of the situation. You're not starting from 0, and you can focus on the specific details rather than trying to figure out the basic setup. Use the time before the audio starts to read this statement carefully. Additionally, set up your notes accordingly. If the statement tells you there are 2 speakers, write a label for each one. If it tells you the setting is a workplace or a store, note that down. Going into the audio with even a small amount of context can make a big difference in how clearly you follow the conversation. Tip number 4 is specific to part 1, listening to problem solving. In this part, track the problem and the solution as you listen. Part 1 features a conversation between 2 people, such as 2 co-workers or a customer and a clerk. One speaker has a problem and the other speaker is trying to help. The conversation is broken into 3 sections of audio, and you'll answer 2 or 3 questions after each section. Because the questions focus on the problem and what happens as a result of it, your notes should track those 2 things. As you listen, ask yourself, what is the problem, what solutions are offered, and which solution is chosen or suggested. For example, you might hear a customer speaking with a cashier about a return. Keep track of what the customer needs, what the cashier suggests, and what they decide to do next. This kind of structured listening makes the questions much easier to answer. Now, here is something important. Many CELPIP candidates think that knowing a few listening tips is enough to get a strong result, but it's not enough. To do well in CELPIP listening, you need to understand exactly how the different parts work and which strategies you need to use to find the correct answers. That's exactly what we teach in our CELPIP packages. Our students get step-by-step guidance on how to approach the listening test effectively, so they feel confident and ready on test day. They learn how the CELPIP listening questions are designed and which strategies they need to apply to answer them successfully. Our CELPIP packages include lessons for all tasks, sample answers, mock tests, templates, and much more. Click the link below to learn more. The 5th tip is one that applies to every part of the listening test. Identify the question type before answering. There are 3 question types in CELPIP listening, and each one requires a different approach. The first type is a general meaning question. This asks you about the big picture, such as what 2 speakers are mainly talking about. The second type is a specific information question. This asks for one clear fact, like a name, a place, or a reason that was mentioned directly in the audio. The third type is an inference question. This asks you to draw a conclusion about something that was not stated directly, such as how a speaker feels about a situation or what will likely happen next. You can usually identify the question type from the wording. Inference questions often use words like probably or most likely. Specific information questions usually ask for one particular detail. When you know which type you're dealing with, you can look at the answer choices with the right focus. This helps you rule out incorrect options more quickly and choose the right answer with more confidence. Let's move on to tip number 6, which is specific to part 2, listening to a daily life conversation. In this part, pay attention to how the speakers feel as well as what they say. Part 2 features a conversation between 2 people who already know each other. The tone is conversational and relatively informal. This part includes questions about facts, but it also includes questions about attitude, feelings, and agreement between speakers. Because the speakers know each other, they often express their feelings indirectly. A speaker might not say, "I'm frustrated." Instead, they might say something like, "I can't believe this keeps happening." Use tone of voice and word choice together to understand how each speaker really feels. Pay attention to changes in tone during the conversation, as these can signal that one speaker agrees or disagrees with the other. This kind of careful listening can help you with inference questions in particular. It also helps to pay attention to moments where one speaker reacts to what the other has just said. A short response like "really" or "I'm not sure about that" can tell you a lot about how that speaker feels about the situation. These small reactions often contain the answer to a question about attitude or opinion. Here is tip number 7, which is specific to part 3, listening for information. In this part, your job is to identify who has the information and who wants it. Part 3 features a conversation between two people, where one speaker has expertise or specific knowledge that the other person is looking for. You might hear a car salesperson explaining features to a customer, or an experienced employee explaining a procedure to someone who is new to the job. Because the whole conversation is built around one person sharing information, you should track what they say and the order in which they say it. To do this effectively, try organizing your notes directly around the main points the knowledgeable speaker provides. The questions will often ask about specific details of what the speaker explained. So, keeping your notes clear and in order can make it much easier to find the right answer quickly. By the way, if you want this channel to keep going, write yes in the comments, click like and subscribe. We only make videos that you actually want to watch. Now, let's continue with 3 more essential tips for CELPIP listening. We'll continue with tip number 8, which is specific to part 4, listening to a news item. In this part, you have to listen for names and key facts right from the beginning. Part 4 is a news-style report with one speaker. The tone is formal and factual, like a radio or TV news broadcast. You might hear a report about a local community event, a new technology, or an unusual situation involving animals. News reports follow a predictable structure. The speaker usually introduces the main topic at the beginning and then provides supporting details. When a person is mentioned in the report, they are introduced by their full name first and then referred to by their last name, only for the rest of the clip. This is important to know. If a question mentions a last name only, you need to connect it back to the full name you heard earlier. Make a note of every full name you hear and write it down immediately. It's also helpful to listen for numbers, dates, and locations. News reports often include these as supporting details, and the questions may ask about them directly. Keep a separate area in your notes for any specific figures or places you hear. This allows you to find them quickly when the questions appear. The next tip is specific to part 5, listening to a discussion. In this part, set up your notes for 3 speakers. Part 5 features a video clip with 3 speakers having a discussion. They might be neighbors planning a community event, teammates deciding how to organize something, or classmates working on a group project together. The questions will ask about what each speaker thinks, what they agree or disagree about, and what decisions are made. Because there are 3 speakers, it can be easy to get confused about who said what. The best way to avoid this is to label your notes accordingly. Try writing a short label for each speaker, such as L for the speaker on the left, M for the one in the middle, and R for the one on the right. Then, as each person speaks, note down their key points under their label. This can help you match each opinion or statement to the right person much more quickly when you answer the questions. Pay attention to moments of disagreement as well. Part 5 questions often ask which speakers agree with each other or which speaker holds a different view. Note down a quick symbol, such as a check mark for agreement or a cross mark for disagreement, next to each speaker's points. This small habit can save you time when answering and help you stay organized throughout the clip. Our final tip is specific to part 6, listening for viewpoints. In this part, track opinions and the reasons behind them. Part 6 is the most challenging part of the listening test. It features one speaker giving a formal, prepared report or presentation on a topic. The audio is longer than in any other part, and the speaker uses more advanced vocabulary. The topic might be something like climate change, a community issue, or the effects of a new technology. The questions in part 6 focus heavily on perspective. These questions focus on what different people in the report think about the issue and why they feel that way. As you listen, identify the main issue being discussed. Then track who is mentioned, what position each person holds, and what reasons they give. For example, you might hear a report about a city deciding whether to build a new transit line. The speaker might mention a local councillor who supports the idea because it would reduce traffic, and then a residents group might oppose it because of construction noise. Writing down each person's name and their position clearly in your notes can help you find the right answer quickly. It prevents you from getting confused by similar sounding options. Part 6 rewards careful, organized listening more than any other part of the test. That's it! These are 10 tips for CELPIP listening parts 1 to 6. If you want expert guidance for your CELPIP preparation, check out our CELPIP packages using the link below. Our packages include step-by-step guidance, sample answers, mock tests, templates, and other useful resources to help you feel confident on test day. I hope you liked this video. Don't forget to like, subscribe to the channel, and hit the bell icon so you're notified when the next video comes out. Also, share this video with your friends so they can improve their CELPIP score too. See you in the next video!